The St. Louis Blues entered the 2016-17 season as one of the top contenders to win the Stanley Cup, as oddsmakers have them listed at odds of 10-1 to win the Stanley Cup. The Blues finished with the second-best record in the Western Conference a year ago, and they had some playoff success, but ultimately fell just short of making the Stanley Cup Finals as they were beaten by the San Jose Sharks in the conference finals in 6 games. The St. Louis Blues had an overall record of 49, 24, 5-4, and the team was about even on the road and at home. The Blues were 4th in the NHL in fewest goals allowed last season, and they will need to be just as good this season if they are to contend in the Western Conference. The Blues don't look to be as good offensively as they were a year ago, and they may not be as good in goal without Elliott. St. Louis went over the total 36 times last season while going under 32 times with 14 pushes. The Blues made some changes in the offseason, but in the grand scheme of things, it appears the team looks weaker than they were a year ago. The Blues let goaltender Brian Elliott get away, and they also lost David Backes and Troy Brouwer. The newcomers the Blues got to replace those players are not too exciting, as St. Louis brought in backup goaltender Carter Hutton and winger David Perrin. St. Louis is also playing the season in a situation that almost never works, as having a coach in waiting, Ken Hitchcock will be coaching his final season with the St. Louis Blues, with Mike Yeo set to take over in 2017 and 18. It is hard to see how the Blues are going to make this work, especially if they struggle early in the season. The Blues have a lot of talented players, including Vladimir Tarasenko, Paul Stastny, David Perrin, Alexander Steen, and Jay Bouwmeester, but they also have some questions entering the season starting in goal. The Blues are counting on Jake Allen to be their starting goaltender this season. He played pretty well last season, but he has never had the starting job all to himself and has yet to prove he can win in the playoffs. The Blues were nothing special on offense last season, as they averaged 2.7 goals per game, which was 15th in the league. It was pretty much all Vladimir Tarasenko, and when he didn't score, the team struggled to win. Tarasenko didn't really show up in the playoffs, and the Blues couldn't get past San Jose without his scoring. The Blues were a surprise last season as they got a big year from Tarasenko, and their goaltending duo of Elliott and Allen played really well. It may not work so well this season with Allen having to carry the load all by himself. It is also really hard to see how this team will win with a coach in waiting. Hitchcock found a way to motivate this team a year ago, and they all played really well, but it probably won't happen this season. The Blues could be a team to go against this season, as they look to be really overvalued, and they may also be a good team to bet under the total. St. Louis might struggle just to make the playoffs in the last season under Hitchcock. Don't forget that Bang the Book is your best resource for sports betting information on this event and every other sporting event and game this week. Click over to bangthebook.com now.